am I going to plug in right here, Shiloh, for my y value? Okay, 5/4, which is the same thing as 1 1/4, right? So it doesn't matter which one you write. Is everybody okay with that? Okay. Equals, all right, what's my x value, Kayla, here going to be?
2.
Good. So we've got 2 minus 3/4. Okay, how do we do fraction work here? How do we figure out if 2 minus 3/4 is 5/4? Tessa?
We put we turn the 2 into a fraction, so you put a 1 underneath.
Then what would you do?
Then you would find a common denominator, which
Good.
would be 4. So then you would times, and you would get 8/4. And then you would subtract them. And that's how far it got.
Well, that's right. So 5/4 equals 5/4, right?
It's okay if I give us a mixed number.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay? Some people would have said 2 minus 3/4 and know that that was 1 1/4 and been done, and that's okay. But if not, stick number 1, common denominator. Common denominators. Okay? All right, so the answer is yes, this will work. Okay? All right, flip over on the back side. Okay, we are going to do a little bit of just introductory graphing. Nothing too crazy, but we're going to take a look at what we expect out of graphing from you. Okay? All right, so it says, use the table, a graph, and an equation and a graph to represent the relationship. Make sure to label your graph, and we're going to talk about that here in a second. Okay? Okay, it says Peter earns $12 per hour. Okay, $12 per hour. Okay? So when they want you to make a table, I'll usually have the labels here for you. Okay, so you're going to write in your labels. So we're looking at how many hours, and then how much is he going to make? Earnings, something along those lines. Okay? All right, so now that being said, since I don't have any numbers here, we're just going to randomly put a number. So give me some easy numbers we want to use.
2.
2, I have 1, 2. What about just 3, 4? That'd be good? Yeah, don't overthink that. Put in some easy numbers. Don't go crazy. Make it easy. Okay? All right, so if I work for 1 hour, how much money do we earn? $12. If we work for 2 hours? 3 hours?
36.
Good. And what about 4 hours? 48. Very good. Okay. All right, is everybody okay with that so far? Okay, so now, one of the things it says right there at the end, make sure to label your graph. Okay? Your first column, doesn't matter if it's up and down or side by side like this, is going to be hours. It's going to be your X. And so you can kind of see I put X over here for you. Okay? Now, some people like to say like H is number of hours and use that kind of label. I'm fine with that. But most of you will use X and Y to keep it straight. Okay? And then earnings will be your Y. So with that being said, on your graph here, we're going to put hours. And we're going to put earnings. Everything gets labeled. And give it a title. Let's see, what kind of title we want here? Maybe
Does it
like,
have to be like the scientific thing? Yeah. Like, because the scientific is like, it's a process. You can't just like make something up.
no, Peter's earnings is great for math class. Just make sure it applies to the problem. All right, so we've got Peter. We're finding out how much money he's making. So Peter's earnings. Okay? Anything that applies to the problem is good for in here. Okay? Now, when we graph, make sure you have even units. In other words, here's the biggest mistake I've seen, is people start like this, and they'll count this by like 10, and then they'll go 20, 30, 40. What's wrong with that? You have gap, you've got one big area of gap, don't you? Okay? The other issue I saw a lot from the academic kiddos is they would call the first one 10 and then start counting by really 5s. So they would say 10, and then they wouldn't write 25. It would be 25, 20. Sorry, 15. 15, 20, 25, 30. But again, you have 10 units here and only 5 here. It has to be even units all the way across. So from start to finish, okay? So when you're doing this, you are starting these at 0 and then making even units across. Now across, we want to do 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So just start at 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put out a couple digits out there. Okay, write real small there. Now going up. What do you guys want to count by going up? Fives? Okay, I heard fives, that'll work. You gotta get 50 on there, right? Because we're going up to 48. So that means we gotta get something close to 50. She said, let's go and count by fives. Again, you start at 0 and even units all the way across.
You started at 12, not 22.
You can do 12s as well, that's fine. Okay, doesn't matter. All right, so you guys said 112, right? So let's graph 112. So it's going to be an estimate there. 224. So right underneath that 25. 336. Just above 35 there. And then 448 will be right there. Okay? And then draw a nice, pretty straight line, maybe a little better than mine. Okay? All right, now, what's going on each time? So what happens? How did I get to 12, 24, 36, 48? What were we doing?
You're increasing.
Well, we're increasing by
12.
We're increasing by 12, but what relationship does it have to the x and y? What are we doing between like the 2 to 24, 3 to 36, 4 to 4? So instead of saying adding 12, can we say multiply by 12? Okay, so what we're going to do here is my y values will be $12 an hour, and I'll make x like how many hours I'm working. Does that make sense? Now, like I said, if you want to do something like earnings, $12 an hour, that would work as well. I would take either one of those. Okay, so if you want to make it so that you understand exactly with the graph, or if you just want to do x's and y's, I'm okay with that. Okay? All right. Okay, go down here on example 5. Okay, same concept, except for now they give you the table. So you didn't have to come up with a table on this one. Okay, again, the first one will be x, the second will be y. First is x, second is y. Okay, so now, label, this is your x, so your x is hours. And since they're counting by ones, again, we're going to just go ahead and count by ones, starting at 0. Okay, and then we're talking miles. Miles. Now, with miles, what do you guys want to count by? Because we got to get all the way to 335. Hundreds, 50s, okay, something along those lines. So again, keep it even. I'm going to do 50, 100, 150, 200, 250, 300, 350, 400. Okay, so I just counted by 50s. Okay, and then give it a title here, and I know I'm kind of skipping through some of this because we're running out of time. But it shows the distance they're traveling on their way to their family's house. So you could put like road trip, distance traveled, vacation, whatever you want to put there at top so that it makes sense of the problem. Okay, so vacation, family vacation. I need to spell that right. Okay. All right, and so once you get that, you're going to graph these points. We're kind of running out of time, okay? So you'll graph the points, you'll try to write an equation, and then you'll answer the question, how far will they drive in 12 hours?
As we come to the end of our day, let us pause for prayer. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with you.